Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, I'm Chris the Dime One, and I am back with another video. This news flew under the radar. Not a lot of people are discussing or even talking about it. But ESPN bought the right to have exclusive content first on their network pertaining to UFC. Now, this deal is a great deal for both parties, UFC as well as ESPN. Now, Fox was getting the content there on a limited basis, and it proved to be very beneficial to not for UFC, but Fox. It gave Fox a younger audience, and it also gave Fox flexibility when you talk about financial wise to go heads forward as far as Fox Sports 1, poaching talent from ESPN and importing that talent to Fox Sports 1, and they're doing good things over there. Now, I remember people were talking about how this is pretty much the end of ESPN because of those moves. And like I said in my previous video discussing that, there's nothing wrong with big time corporations, big time companies downsizing. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Closing closing certain ventures that are not profitable to the standpoint of that corporation, so they can take their assets and their financial flexibility and explore other avenues. And that's exactly what ESPN has done thus far in the past couple of years. Okay, they launched, the podcast was always they always had a hand in the podcast section on their app, as well as Apple and SoundCloud, things of that nature. And now they're using ESPN Plus. It's an additional service to the ESPN app. You pay like a small fee and you get exclusive content there. For an example, Kobe Bryant has a show called Detail that only premieres on ESPN Plus. Okay. Now, as far as ESPN goes, if you look at this deal, and I'm not going to go into the details of what they're going to get out of this deal, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of ESPN name is going to be even stronger than ever. Okay, when you're talking about ESPN signed an exclusive deal with UFC. They also have a deal with the NBA. They're sort of partners with the other networks pertaining to the NFL. Okay, and they're also in the SEC. Now, those entities alone are very popular entities. They get a lot of volume audience wise. They got a bigger fan base and a bigger community, an active community. Okay, so when you have your name in all of those entities, okay, and you're getting exclusive content to those successful entities, it only makes your brand better. Okay. Now, on a side note, Fox got exclusive content, exclusive right to the WWE. Okay. It was a lesser deal than what ESPN had to pay for UFC. The WWE, when you're talking about it from a Fox standpoint, I don't think it's going. And when you compare both of these deals, I think ESPN got the better organization popularity wise, and it's only going to add value to ESPN. I think the WWE is okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but it teeters sometimes. Some calendar months is extremely popular. In other calendar months, it's just not. Okay, but let's focus more on ESPN and what this means for the future of ESPN. If you have been, paying attention, ESPN been launching new shows. The talent that they lost they added other talent from other avenues of sports media, from the paper scene as well as the blog scene, the blog scene. Okay, so they're getting the best of the best from those avenues, and they're also still growing their home talent. Okay, like I said in my other videos, ESPN is still the place for younger journalists to gravitate to in the sports field. Okay, if you're an up and coming journalist and you had the choice between going to ESPN or Fox, you're going to pick ESPN. Now, Fox Sports 1 is getting up there, okay? There's nothing wrong with Fox Sports 1. I think Undisputed, Skip and Shannon's show, that's the most successful show, on that network, followed by The Herd and Speak for Yourself, okay? But there's really nothing else there that gravitates you from the primetime hours other than, the sports. I think Fox is a network, from 7 a.m. to like 12 or 1 p.m., they're probably getting the majority of the audience flexing over there to Fox Sports 1. But anything past 1 p.m., everybody goes back to ESPN, particularly if you're an NBA fan. If you want to watch NBA games, an abundance of NBA games, you're going to go to ESPN over Fox. The same could be said for Monday Night Football. You got the NFL side, the SEC. I think the SEC is still popular, okay, no matter what anybody thinks. And the UFC is an up-and-coming, growing entity that's only getting better for younger audience. The demographic of that younger audience is from 18 to 24. Okay, now, you still have your other sports like baseball, soccer, and I think between baseball and soccer, Fox and ESPN is splitting the differences between those sports. But, like I said in my other videos, ESPN doesn't have the cachet or the financial flexibility to have exclusive deals, exclusive licenses for all major sports. So they had to downsize and pick the ones that are very successful and very profitable for ESPN versus the other entities, the other sports leagues, okay? Not to crap on these other leagues like baseball and Canadian football, arena football, wrestling, I lost my train of thought there. NASCAR, a lot of these entities, they're okay, but they're not very profitable from the standpoint of broadcasting, getting butts in the seats, getting viewers to click to your station, okay? So when you look at this deal in whole, like I said in my last video, ESPN is still going to get the audience. They're still going to gravitate the biggest audience in the football season as well as the basketball season. And UFC is pretty much year round, okay? So, and the SEC, so they're pretty much covered in all seasons versus Fox. If y'all want to say the best football games are on Fox, then so be it. Even though I beg to differ, I think when you're talking about the NFL, it's monopolized where all networks are benefiting from that. But if you guys want to stretch the imagination of, well, Fox is number one and when it comes to watching football, then so be it. But what else between football to when? Well, to the next WWE. I think Fox Sports 1 has reached its peak. I don't think it's going to get any popular or any hotter than what it is right now. And another aspect to Fox that a lot of people are not mentioning, they got a lot of controversial announcers and analysts there. They used to they used to work for ESPN. They gave ESPN headaches and problems, particularly to a lot of these social groups. Okay. Jason Whitlock, Colin Cowherd, okay? Skip Bayless. I feel like these entities, these personalities, even though they gravitate a large fan base and audience, sometimes the audience hate the guts of these announcers, or they love them, whatever the case may be. I feel like these audiences, a lot of these social groups, gravitate to these guys, and they can also cause problems to Fox, to the standpoint where, Fox Sports 1 may have to trinkle and change their policy on what they can and cannot say on the air, if you're trying to take it to the next stratosphere, which is ESPN. ESPN is owned by Disney. They got a different standard because they have a bigger audience to, they have to have an ad-friendly type of audience, okay? And Fox Sports 1 is getting there, but I feel like once they get there, a lot of these guys that think that they can say whatever they want to say, no matter if it hurts a community or hurts a religion or an ethnic group, whatever, eventually Fox Sports 1 is going to come to their offices and say, hey, look, we're trying to be ad commercial friendly, so there are some things that we're just going to not talk about, and some things that we are going to talk about. Just like they'll be pretty much in the same situation like they were with ESPN. Okay, so when you look at the scope of this deal with the UFC, and it's coming January 2019, I think this is very important for ESPN. ESPN is trying to get into a lot of households and do a lot of things and have their name connected to a lot of successful entities. But guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One, and I am out. Deuces.